Good afternoon, Tobago. Good afternoon, Trinidad. And good afternoon to our diaspora. This is hashtag Tobago Next, the Island Reset. And we are in a position, if you'd notice my solemn start, we're in a position that we need to be in deep thought about where we are as Tobago and as Trinidad and Tobago at this point in time. I have with me, as we engage in a deep dive about real talk with real people, about real Tobago, I have with me on the IDA team today Ms. Stacey Herbert, my colleague on my immediate left, and none other on my right than the political leader of the Innovative Democratic Alliance, Dr. Denise Tsoiafatt Angus. And I say to you guys, welcome to this evening's program, where we're going to take a deep dive into the question of, was Tobago sold out? So Tobago sold? The secrets, the lies, and the incompetence that lays at the heart of this. So ladies, let's get straight into it. We saw in recent times, to bring us to this position, we saw our Prime Minister take a particular stance as it relates to CARICOM, with her level of disengaging, separating herself with certain decisions. We also saw realignment, as it were. Trinidad and Tobago, known to be a neutral nation in geopolitical issues like what we are seeing, the standoff between the US and Venezuela. We have seen a completely different stance, one that is more aligned and embracing with the US position. We as the people of Trinidad and Tobago have seen military vessels entering our space. For Tobago even more so, recently we have woken up to the, what do we call that sound? That reverberating sound of military aircraft in our space, landing in Tobago airport. And quite recently, we've woken up to the fact that there is an operating radar in our space. And not just any radar, but a military grade radar, a battle-ready radar. We have also been made aware that there are hundreds of US Marines or soldiers on the island. We are seeing elements adding up, one upon the other, and it leaves us to wonder what is happening in our space and what are we preparing for. Dr. Angus, add some more to this fact and where it seems to be taking us.
But I think we need to go back to the unfolding of, the stance. Yes, you said the Prime Minister took a stance, but it was quite a very violent stance that she took, an aggressive stance that she took initially with the first utterances of a total, I don't need to talk to CARICOM. Okay? So it started there, and then it escalated to, yes, kill them violently.
Yes, you all remember that.
Inciting, some type of war tones against what she called narco-traffickers. And at that point, that is when the IDA stood up on August 26th and said, we in Tobago cannot and must not be dragged into this because it does not benefit Tobago's future. Our future is resting a foundation of tourism. Yes, we get the majority of funds from Trinidad, but we are building a tourism sector. And therefore, we saw it that we cannot encourage that and not say something to protect the Tobago brand. And that is when we stood up, we called on the Chief Secretary. We said, you need to stand up and declare Tobago as a zone of peace and neutrality. That was August 26th. It was 2 months later that the Chief Secretary finally came out and said, what did he say? He was blindsided, and they were speaking about the fact that fishermen are afraid. And at that point, fishermen were fishing in small amounts, and restaurants were rationing the fish. And they were getting all of that started from since then.
Yes.
And so, with that now happening, you then have he then came out and he said, well, the fishermen should not worry because he's in support of the Prime Minister and whatever decision she makes in Trinidad as part of the central government, she's the Prime Minister and he supports everything. Okay? That was in October he came out and said that.
Yes.
Let us not forget. And from since August to now, I have been just about every live advising people, getting them prepared, saying, listen, we have to prepare ourselves.
Yes.
Because I saw the stance that the Prime Minister was taking with vigor.
Yes.
And I said, something is not right. You know, this is not just about narco, this is going further. And so we advised persons, to do different things in preparation. But what is worrying is the impact it's having on people, because you've gone from, and especially over the last week, and the last month, because initially you said, well, you don't know that American people are coming to Trinidad to train, and then within 24 hours you say, yes, they are here to train, you don't know this, and then 24 hours later you're coming back and saying that. So how do we have confidence in our leaders to take us through this? We then had the situation where they showed up in Tobago. We started hearing rumors of people hearing things flying, and then you hear people in Tobago. It's only when the rumors came forward, you then heard from the Prime Minister, well, they're just building a road in Tobago. Okay? So we went from assisting a road to then putting oil tanks underneath, fuel tanks underneath. Then you heard the plane just came to refuel, but you ask yourself, where does Tobago get A-grade military type fuel to refuel a plane?
A military plane.
So what exactly did they land for? Was it for refueling or to drop off a few things?
Right.
Okay? So you then went on to then another day later, she then came out and admitted that a radar was being set up, and also the soldiers are actually on the ground. And you all have been talking to people.
Yes.
Before I go, tell me what has been your experience when you begin talking to people on the ground?
Well, on the ground, people seem to not know what to do. They don't know what to do. There's a feeling that there's an absence of leadership, right? You would hear people saying they don't even know what's going on. They don't know what's going on. They're not sure what's happening. And for me, when I listen to people talking like that, it's very disturbing. It's very, very, very disturbing. I myself, when I looked around and saw what was happening, I was wondering where was the leadership in this. I myself was wondering what's happening. What's happening? But inside of that, I still saw, well, for us as the IDA, because of how we were feeling, and we communicated about that. That's when Dr. Angus said, "But listen, we need to do something about this." Despite the fact that yes, we have a leader in the Tobago House of Assembly, but it is our responsibility to get up and at least show leadership in this space, because there was none. There was none. Right? So for me, this is what I have been experiencing.
Have you had people who, you've interacted with and how have they felt? And I know I'm taking away a moderator role.
Yeah, no, but this is a conversation because this is real talk.
Yes.
You saw people not just confused and not sure what is happening, so they don't know what to think. You also saw people on the other spectrum actually traumatized, emotionally, mentally raped.
Yeah.
And I'm not exaggerating. You're talking about full-grown adults who their emotion is wrapped to the limits. And wondering, where are our leaders in the midst of this? Who is guiding us?
And I want to go back to that question of where are our leaders? Because part of the facts that we are dealing with, which I think Tobagonians are grappling with, is the fact that this thing has blown up. And a chief secretary says that the first time he heard about this was on Facebook. It means that you are not in control of the island, because you cannot tell me this plane landed in the airport. You did not get a call from the airport, anybody in the airport. You did not, whether they offloaded things or they refueled, you did not get a call. Okay? And you are hearing this on Facebook. And you then said, okay, you will ask for an investigation. A day passes, a whole day passes, and then you hear the Prime Minister making pronouncements. And then the night, yes, the Chief Secretary comes on the media to say that he saw while he was speaking, the Prime Minister was calling. Now, mind you, this is a whole 48 hours just about after he read it on social media. Okay? The Prime Minister is calling in the night, and he did not answer.
Because they was in Buka.
Well, he said at the prayer session he was speaking. Okay? But the Prime Minister is calling you. I'm sure she knew of your activities, yes? Because she's, quite involved in the TPP's business. So she would have known that you had this. So if the Prime Minister is calling you at that time, are you going to complete what you're doing? Wait to go out to the media to say that, well, the Prime Minister called me, but I will call her later. Really? Tobago's under threat. The Prime Minister calls you, and you said you will talk to her later. I was
Flabbergasted.
totally
Flabbergasted is the right word.
I was blown away by the nonchalant kind of approach to this whole thing. It's as if, well, I kind of know what's going on, but I know I need to say something, so that's what I said.
Right.
And then you got this media conference. A media conference that clearly been just a sham.
Yes.
Because I have to tell you, the chief secretary came out to that media conference and could not look the people of Tobago in the eyes.
Yes, that is true.
Okay?
That is true.
He looked down, he looked to the side, he could not look the people of Tobago in the eyes. Which tells me that there's more in the mortar than the pestle. Okay? And that he's not comfortable with what is in that mortar. You saw it all in his body language. And then, you know, you suggested that what the Minister of Defense, given his attitude, is his attitude, would not have answered or something like that.
Yes.
I mean, that was a little disrespectful comment. Yeah? But not my business. What he showed his incompetence by speaking to the fact that he called that minister directly.
Yep.
You're the chief secretary. Your line of communication with something like this is the prime minister.
Yep.
And that clearly shows, you know, his lack of readiness to lead us through this situation, because by now you should know your line of communication, especially something like this, is the Prime Minister, who is the head of the National Security Council.
Yes.
Why are you calling the Minister of Defense? She will then instruct them if she wants them to communicate with you.
Yes.
But you can't be directly calling them at a time like this. It tells me that you have not grasped the gravity of the situation that we are in.
Yes. That is true. Very true.
Okay?
Yeah.
So you come out there and you share, basically, you know, applauding the Prime Minister, you know, whatever. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister has showed that she has no confidence in your leadership. And how we know that is because she comes out and says, well, I took a decision, we came to Tobago, and Fali did not need to know about this. Okay? You as the head of the Tobago House of Assembly, you who they say they're giving autonomy to,
Yes.
okay? And she says, you didn't need to be in there. It was the 6th schedule, you didn't need to be in there. Even though things are being done on the 6th schedule, the chief secretary has a responsibility to know what is happening in the Tobago space, regardless of if it is the 6th schedule. You're not responsible for execution, but you're responsible for knowing. Okay? And it is either you knew, you were told, and therefore you lied to the people of Tobago, or you were disrespected in the greatest format, and you just took it and swallowed it.
From your friend.
Yeah. You took it and you swallowed it. Because what we expected to hear from you, if you did not know, is to express your deep concern and the disrespect to the people of Tobago in terms of how they felt and how you felt as a sitting chief secretary who is supposed to be aligned with the UNC, how you felt with, you know, not being given the respect of the time of day and knowing what was taking place. And again, I want to say that clearly the Prime Minister has no confidence in the Chief Secretary.
That is true.
Very true.
If she had confidence in the Chief Secretary, she would have had discussions with him.
Exactly.
And so another lie he told is the fact when he came out and first said that this is the first time he's meeting with members of the National Security Council. And, you know, Fali, I know they just call you a nickname, but don't be a self-fulfilling prophecy every time. In March of 2024, Alliance wrote to the Prime Minister and to copy to the Chief Secretary, the Deputy Chief Secretary, the representative for Roxford Delaford. Okay, he was the only one that responded, acknowledged. Okay, I wrote to the Prime Minister, the Minister of Defense, Mr. Hines, and
National Security.
At that time, I didn't get a response from him. I got a response from the Prime Minister's secretary, the office saying no. Okay? Never got a response from the Chief Secretary. We wrote up a 2-page letter outlining why the Chief Secretary created an illegal committee called the Tobago Security Committee. He created an illegal committee because the committee he could not meet with the committee because he had no responsibility for the 6th schedule and for security. So you created a committee which was illegal and it was a toothless bulldog. These people are just coming out of courtesy, but you could not authorize them to do anything. You did not have money to do anything, and that is why the audit committee came in. Okay, because you were spending money that was not appropriated to certain things.
Right.
Okay? So that shows you a lack of understanding of the whole system. He then, instead of accepting what was being put forward, and I had media interviews on it too, instead of accepting what was put forward, he went on a platform in Speyside to ridicule me and say, who do I think I am? Well, I'm here to tell you, I am a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, a resident of Tobago, and I am the voice that is prepared to speak on behalf of the people, not just Tobago, but Trinidad and Tobago at any given time. Okay? And so I listened to them. A few months later in August, that was March, by August, the Prime Minister calls him and invites him to a meeting in Tobago of the National Security Council. As a result of that letter. Both of them would not admit it. Okay? But it was as a result of that letter. The letter also guided them to take it further. That if they really want to have legitimacy to what the Chief Secretary was doing in Tobago, that he has a seat on the National Security Council in a section called the Tobago Agenda, so everybody could be on the same page. And also, before they change the Tobago Autonomy Bill, they can do a memorandum of understanding so that there was a seamless flow of regulations, of authority, and also the security apparatus, including the finances, to treat with the crime on the island. The reason why I also suggested that it should be a national security seat was because the crime was of a transnational nature. Okay? The idea had been having meetings every Thursday night. We brought in experts to talk about the crime and what was happening. And it was the gangs that were happening. We understood it was of a transnational nature. And therefore to treat with that, we needed to have a seat on the Tobago Council.
And the
National Security Council. Now I hear Fadi talking about he wrote a letter to the Prime Minister to do it. I don't believe that. Okay? It is the same letter that the idea wrote that he's talking about.
And CC it to him.
Okay?
And CC to him.
And CC to him.
Yes.
Okay? With all the data outlined about how to go through this. So it really has been very disappointing and, I mean, frustrating to watch how this thing is unfolding when we could have been ahead of the game from before. And I'm really, I have to tell you, the people must be also frustrated with the People's National Movement because they could have done more.
Yes.
They could have done more. When that letter came, It should not be seen as, oh, it was an idea and we're not actioning it. They could have taken it up and actioned it. We would have been far ahead than where we are today. Okay? So, we finished with that, and we're hearing now that, you know, Minister Sturge is now denying and saying, well, it's nothing to worry about, and, you know, it's just natural and routine and building road and whatever. Let me tell you, that press conference was not convincing. All of them could not look the people in the eye. They were just doing this. Yeah, they could not look the people in their eyes and instill confidence in their leadership. And that is our challenge at this point.
We have a lack of leadership, strong visionary leadership.
And I'm saying, you know, what I expect of the Chief Secretary now is that he would have requested an apology from the Prime Minister to the people of today. Let's start.
At least.
Yeah? And then, I know that, listen, there's no way that he didn't know, okay? His body language in that meeting told me that he knew. I am also hearing that there are other pictures around that may place a look-alike, yeah, in certain places that may suggest
he knew.
I understand that you could not have shared national security secrets. Nobody's expecting you to share that. But you have a responsibility that you could have begun preparing the people. You know, get your Secretary of Agriculture to create some urgency out of food security. In August, through August to now, the idea has been advising people every Tuesday afternoon live, plant something, plant something, plant something. Get a short crop and your community gets together and your swap, you know, crops. We have to feed ourselves. And by now, you should have an escalation plan. Okay? You should be calling all the leaders, the political leaders together and have an escalation plan. This is not a time for politics anymore. Okay? I've always told you, you need to lead. And I'm going back to the time when Ochoa died, and I said, Fali Chavez Augustine, bring the Tobago bill back to the people. No, you're waiting late and rushing, and then calling people to stop it in Parliament. That's not leadership. You need to be able to think 10 steps ahead, and you're not doing it. You've never done it. Okay? So you need an escalation plan. You need to take off the layers of politics right now. And I know that we are going into an election. I don't know whether you could even call the election date, whether it's you calling it, whether it's the Prime Minister calling it, or the United States President calling it. Okay? But you need to find a way to create an escalation plan that you can roll out to the people. We have gone past building a road. Everybody went on the internet to look up the grade of radar that we have, and everybody know, man, woman, and child know that that system there is not for narco trafficking. We have a system already. The Express has shown it that there's already an existing system in Trinidad and Tobago for narco traffickers that was working very well. This is military grade radar. And therefore, God forbid, there is some type of escalation that may occur. We will all pray for that not to happen. But we can't sit down and pray and don't do anything. Because I will tell you that there are few things in strategic role that they will do. Number one, they want to lick out the radar that monitors them and the radar that has the capability of sending the missiles. Okay? So that's number one. So that's the new airport goal. The next thing they would like to do is to lock the people on the island. Yeah? So they may take out the second airport and possibly the port. The other thing they would do is they would then go to Trinidad and take out one of the most, key
one of the oil platforms. That provides our energy.
That provides our energy.
Crippling the economy.
To cripple the economy. Okay? And so those are the things that they may consider doing. And so I say to Fali Chavez Augustine, what plan do you have for the people of Tobago? Because when that happened, the Prime Minister don't have any, she don't care about you. It's see for yourself.
Exactly. 60,000.
Okay? The 60,000 strong that you're talking about, you will have to find a way to feed us. What conversations are you having right now? Have you spoken with supermarkets for them to bring in additional resources to ensure that we're not going to starve? Are you going to get your agricultural sector to come alive and really help people understand what they could plant, how they could plant? Get a radio, TV ad going on, teaching people how to plant. Okay? We have to be able to feed ourselves. Because once they take that out, do we have food? Do we have medications? How are we going to function? You need to have a full assessment of all health professionals on the island. Whether they're currently working, whether they're retired, whether they're, on vacation or what. So I will expect my call, lest you forget I'm a medical doctor. Okay? During COVID, when the pandemic was there, they didn't call me as a medical doctor. Trinidad was calling me to ask me if I would volunteer my services in Trinidad. Tobago never called me. Don't make the same mistake. Okay? So you need to have a full understanding of all the health resources you have on the island. You will need everyone at some point. You need to know where to find them. You need to have their phone numbers. You need to, you need to start calling by now and ask them if something happens. You can't hide anymore. If something happens, are you willing to come out and volunteer? This is how you pull people together. Yeah? You need to also guide people of things that they need to be gathering to put away as an emergency package. The idea would have done it with a couple of our lives. Tuesday night lives. Way back when we could repost them. Guiding people through what are some of the things you need to put away, deeds and whatever, in a bag that you could grab and run if necessary, God forbid. Yeah? Listen, we need to pray, prepare, and pray. You can't just pray alone. Faith without works is dead. Okay? So, those are things that they need to be guiding people strategically. We in it. Everybody know we in it. It makes no sense lying anymore. Tobagonians are wise people. They have family working everywhere. So when you think you could pull wool over their eyes, we have the information already. Okay? So might as well you operate as if we already have it and instill some confidence back. Let the people feel as if they're going to be led properly. I know that maybe we are asking too much of you.
I suspect so.
We're asking too much of you. You're out of depth with this. And I saw it on that press conference. I saw it was clear. You are out of your depth.
Dr. Angus, this is is coming from the depths of your soul. If you notice, I'm giving you full rein to express yourself, because we're at a situation that is beyond politics. You know, there are certain words that we like to say. There's a phrase we always like to say, all hands on deck. What does that mean? We have an opportune moment at this point in time.
It means all for one and one for all. That is where we are.
Yes.
We've gone beyond political parties. We've gone beyond, if war breaks out, it affects everybody.
You know, and let me tell you something. You see, we have some diehard TPP out there who feel that this is a joke. Yeah? And that it's just surveillance. Let me tell you something, while all you're joking, go and make sure you're seen about your family and putting away food and putting away your documents and doing all of that. I understand you have to support your party, but don't be foolish. Don't be foolish. And I certainly hope if something happens on this island, that we don't have a chief secretary who's going to take the next flight out.
Yes, space is closed. We can't do anything about that.
Well, he might go to Trinidad because Trinidad's supposed to be safer than here right now. Who knows? Okay?
So at this point in time, Dr. Angus, what we're saying is that we need a type of leadership. And a type of leader that can navigate us through the system. Some people are of the opinion that this is just a glitch in time. This standstill that exists is a glitch in time.
And let me give another piece of advice to the Chief Secretary. Open up a hotline for people who are becoming anxious and depressed.
Yes.
Gather your clinical people, your counselors, and open up a hotline to assist the people of Tobago to get through this. Yes. People are calling me in tears. I have to walk them through it, calm them down. They are traumatized.
Because they don't know what is happening and nobody's telling
saying anything.
So conspiracy theories will blossom in the absence of credible information.
Not just conspiracy theories.
But we know
it's glaring in our face. It's glaring in our face, and they're seeing our leaders lying. So where do they go? Where do they go?
Exactly.
Crisis communication means that you need to communicate.
Yes.
You need to be as authentic as you can, and not just when people catch you out. You need to get in front of this. Yeah? And if you need a plan, you could call. Because at this point, that missile, not looking to see what is a color purple, what is a color blue, or what is a color red, or whatever color, that missile don't look at colors. It's just looking at the island. And it's clear that you need help. You need help.
Dr. Angus, what do you want to leave with the people of Tobago and with the Chief Secretary at this point, especially as we place the standstill that is happening, the war crisis that we are upon in the midst of a supposed THA election to happen? I'm putting you on the spot here. It's not about the politics of the situation, but it's also about the politics of the situation.
Well, I think by now the people should know that you cannot put back Fali Chavez Acosta and the TPP. They have brought us into this situation this far. Okay? Because had he not been that cozy with the Prime Minister and feel as if he's aligned and feel as if he owes them something, I don't know what he sold Tobago for, yes, and what he got. But if he was not that aligned, I would have seen I would have seen him come forward and say things with strength and bigger and be able to give the people some confidence about what is happening.
Yes.
He would not have just accepted that he was disrespected in front of all of his people. I only saw it on Facebook. I don't know, I'll have to investigate. Look here, you put the nail in your coffin with that,
That is not the sense of a leader who is not aware of what is happening in his own domain and under his own watch. But we don't believe that.
Yeah, but my issue with this is that even if he had not known per se that this was happening, he had a responsibility as a leader in this space called Tobago, the chief secretary. From the time things started to happen back then, he had a responsibility to the people to say, here's what, yes, we might be in a space where the Prime Minister has made this declaration as regards Trinidad and Tobago, but our position in Tobago is this, but here's what, we do need to position ourselves where it comes to food security and whatever. However, he would have, whatever plan that he had put in place.
Well, clearly he doesn't have a plan. So.
And for me, that was the whole disappointment. And even from before that, but I mean, this might have given him an opportunity to show himself as a credible leader if he had taken in front, you know. But right now, at this point, as much as Fali Chavez Augustine is a Tobagonian and I love him, at this point he cannot lead me as an individual, and I'm not certain that he can lead us as an island to where we need to go, given the circumstances that we are facing at this point.
Yes.
So there's a message to the people of Tobago.
We all know where we came from, so please, we don't want to go back there either. Yeah? We don't need to go back there either. Because we saw where they had opportunities to put things right, and they didn't. Yeah? So Tobago, it's time for us to force
behind. So Tobago, the responsibility is yours. We know we have an election. We are expecting a particular decision that shows you would choose leaders that will keep their word, that will guide you, that will inspire you, that will bring us together truly to take us forward. So I want to thank you for joining us this evening. I want to leave Dr. Angus to say something.
Over our time.
Yes, we have
let me tell you, I have struggled with this. I'm receiving the calls, you know, people saying, what we go do, and let me tell you, the idea is going to sit down. We're not going to wait on the call from the chief secretary, because we understand his maturity may not, or lack of maturity may not allow him to pick up the phone and make that call. And so we are going to be planning, and we're going to be letting you know what projects or programs we are going to be put in place to assist the people of Tobago for us to get through this. Okay, so thank you again.
Thank you very much, Dr. Angus, for pouring out to us today. I want to thank my other colleague, Stacy, and I want to thank you, the people of Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago, the diaspora, for being with us tonight. So thank you and goodbye. See you next week.